Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I hope you're all well. Today I'm creating this summer skin makeup. We're doing primer. We're doing no foundation. We're going to use tinted moisturizer today. Yes, this is tinted moisturizer. We're doing all of it. I'm going to tell you how to get the glow without compromising on longevity of makeup, how long it lasts, coverage, that sort of thing. So this is super lightweight and super easy to do in the summertime. Now that it's getting hot, you don't want to be wearing like full-on foundation, so this is perfect for me. So if you want to see how I did it, then keep on watching. Okay guys, so let's jump right into it. I've obviously got no makeup on. I've got a little bit of brows in and a little bit of mascara just because I did pop out earlier. So I'm gonna do my primer on camera. I actually hate doing my primer on camera because I always like to let it soak in for like half an hour or so before I start filming and stuff. I just feel like it makes the makeup way better. So if you are recreating this in real life or doing your makeup in general, always leave your skin products to soak in a little bit longer. But for the sake of showing you how I prep my skin, I'm going to do it in this video. First product that I'm going to use is the Bobbi Brown Vitamin Enriched Face Base. So this is a moisturizer and primer in one. Great for people like me who are oily skin but want a moisturising base, and also I know people who are dry skin and love it as well. I'm just taking about this much, so just sort of like a little bit of a pea size. I'm just going to work it into my skin, just making sure I get my forehead as well. I've got a little mirror on this side. It's so hard to do this with like no mirror. I always feel like I need to be looking at the camera. This is quite a thick product, so I really like to get it into my skin without tugging on my skin too much, but it's quite like balmy and slippery, if that makes sense. It's so beautiful. It's one of those products, you know, that you could like apply and apply and apply. You could keep putting it on and on and on and it'd be so nice. As you can see, that's giving me a lovely glow. My skin feels hydrated and prepped, ready for makeup, but it's not too heavy and it doesn't feel like I've got a really thick moisturizer on my skin, which is fab for me. And then obviously because I am oily, because we are in summer, I do need something a little bit oil controlling. Now I'm going to use the Mercier Blurring Primer. You guys know that this is my all-time favourite primer for oil control. I literally use the tiniest amount though. This much is all you need. I feel like people go too heavy on oil controlling primers when really like there's no need. There's only so much that a certain amount of products can do for you in terms of oil control. If you add any more than that, it's gonna peel and you're just adding another layer of product on the face. So just like to make sure that's all pressed in. I just want to do the tiniest little bit of colour correcting just because I feel like I need it just a little bit in the centre of my eyes here. If I look down, don't know if you can even see this on camera, but you can see how like I've got a bit of darkness here and a little bit here but none in the middle. So those are the areas that I'm going to focus on. I'm going to be using the PLOUISE coloured base in the shade Pretentious Peach. So I'm literally going to take a tiny little bit of that on my ring finger. And when I say the tiniest amount, I mean the tiniest amount. And I'm going to actually swap that between, I'm going to use that amount for both eyes. So I'm just going to tap with my finger. And what this is going to do is sort of like neutralise that dark under eye that I've got going on here. And it's just going to make it so much more easier when it comes to concealer. So just pressing that on that area. Now when it comes to colour correction, you actually want to tint or sort of flip the tint of the skin rather than actually cover anything. So remember that we don't actually need to use loads of colour corrector, just a little bit, just to sort of like flip the tone of the skin. So that is enough for me. I don't really have really dark circles, but it was just like on that inner corner I felt like I needed it. So the next product that I'm going to be using, and it's the product that's going to sort of replace my foundation in terms of like a summer makeup routine, is the Nars Pure Radiant Tinted Moisturizer. It has SPF 30. I wear the shade Scent Merits Medium 1. Basically I tried this and I was like, yeah, it's nice, but then I saw I Love Sanity, I'm sure I've spoken about this in a different video, she used it with her hands. game changer, absolute game changer. So I'm gonna go straight in with this on my hands. Now, you might notice during this video, my hands aren't the same colour as my face. Look, we're in summer now, I've been out in the garden, my chest and my face and all the rest of me seems to go tan really, really quick. My hands stay so white right until the end of summer. So it's just the way it is. It might look like a strange match. It's a great match for my face, but not so much for my hands. So I just wanted to put that out there in case you're thinking, what the hell is going on? Why is she like 3 different shades? So this is about the amount of product that I use. It's quite runny and I like to work it in my fingertips first. I don't know why. I feel like it makes it a little bit thicker. I'm not sure. Maybe it's just my mind playing tricks on me, but I like to warm it up and get it to body temperature. I feel like with things like MAC Face and Body and tinted moisturizers, all that kind of stuff, the makeup being at body temperature makes it go on so much better. This is actually, I hate using my hands for makeup, guys. Honestly, it actually makes me feel a bit sick, but it's necessary for the finish. So when I first swipe it on my face, it's gonna look quite dark, but it actually is a really, really sheer coverage, so it ends up evening out anyway. So I just like to go in with my hands. This is so hard to do without a mirror. And I'm just going to apply it all over my face. This looks so weird, doesn't it? I feel like you guys have never ever seen me apply product with my hands, and that's because I don't. I'm a brush gal. So just going in. I really need to check in a mirror in a second. And it does actually blend out really, really nice with the hands. I'm just taking it right underneath my eye there. Right, let me wash this off my hands, one sec. Okay, so I can just see how in the centre of my face here, just needs buffing out a bit. So I'm just using a Peaches Makeup PC15 just to blend in any little lines or anything like that. It did look quite dark when you first apply it, but it does sheer out. So this is actually a really good match for me. So just bear that in mind if you are thinking about purchasing this. But as you can see, it's just so radiant. But what I like about this is that it's not really, really heavily oily. So for someone like me with oily skin, I've always struggled with finding like tinted moisturizers and stuff. I find them too greasy, too oily, and they never last on me. Whereas this will last all day and I really, really like it. I found that it's lasting just as long as foundations. Maybe not as well as like my MAC Studio Fix and Nars Sheer Glow, but it is getting to that point where at the end of the day I still feel like my makeup looks nice. So I actually really, really like this and I think it's really, really good. I'm just going to wipe a little bit of that off my nose. Because my freckles have come back out to play, now it's summer. They seem to disappear in the winter and then come back out. So just take that off my nose because I want them to come through. I'm not trying to cover those up. So next I'm going to go in with concealer. Now I'm going to use a quite full coverage concealer. Yes, I want to be radiant. Yes, I only want to have like summer glowy skin, but I want that staying power in my makeup. I do want coverage in the areas that I choose. So this is great for evening out the skin tone and just getting like radiant and having like an all over base without being too heavy. Whereas the concealer that I'm going to go in with is a bit more full coverage. So it's allowing me to control where I am adding coverage in certain areas. So I'm just going to add it straight under my eyes. Just a little bit in the centre of the forehead, around the nose, chin. Do I need any on the cheeks? No, maybe a little bit here. There we go. And that is literally it. So I've just used Tarte Shape Tape in the shade Medium Honey. And then I'm going to grab my Peaches PC17 brush and I'm just going to blend that in. So super, super soft pressing motions, and I'm taking that right underneath the eye and creating sort of like a lift here. I don't actually tend to change my skin makeup that much, so like I'll probably wear this routine like all summer now, and then when it comes to winter I'll change back again, and then that's when I'll do another tutorial. But I just find it just seems a bit monotonous for me to film tutorials that have the same products, the same techniques, you know, over and over again every week, which is why I like doing eye looks so much, because I do my skin makeup the same. I don't really tend to change it at all. So doing eye looks for me is so fun because it does sort of like change all the time. Just finishing off blending this in, and that has just added a little bit of coverage in the areas that I wanted it in. And I'm just going to grab that PC15 again and just make sure that concealer's all merging with the Tinted Moisturizer nice. And I love how you can see my skin through this makeup still. It's such a vibe. I'm going to go in with some cream bronzer, cream contour, whatever you want to call it. I'm using the NYX Can't Stop Won't Stop in the shade Mahogany. Who is gardening? So I'm taking a little bit of the NYX Can't Stop Won't Stop, and I'm just going to pop a little bit on my cheek there. And I like to do this in stages because this is a matte product. So I just like to do sections at a time. I'm taking my Peaches Makeup PC21, if you know, you know. And I'm making sure that's like super blended. So I actually don't want much structure. So I'm not actually trying to contour my face or anything like that. I'm just trying to add that all over bronze, but in the cream bronzer contour shape. Everybody's dogs are barking, everybody's gardening. The same just around my forehead here. So I'm just going in and tapping that into the skin. Now, what I like about this is that it is a matte product, but you do have time to work with it. I think that matte products that dry down so fast are so inconvenient because I'm one of those people who really likes to... There's babies crying now. Oh my God. I'm one of them people who loves to just sit down and really blend makeup for ages. I absolutely love it. So matte products for me aren't my favourite, but I do actually like this one because although it dries matte and it has the staying power of a matte product, you do actually have time to work with it. But I would recommend doing it in like little stages like I'm doing, rather than drawing all the lines on or putting your product on and then blending it out afterwards. Just because you don't want it to dry down and then not move, because sometimes you can get those leftover lines if you do that. And that's not the goal that we want today. I just feel like cream products are such a vibe in summer. So easy to work with and they look so natural on the skin as well. I'm just going to pop a little bit on my nose. Dink, dink, dink. Tiny little bit, not too much. Just to balance out the face. And I don't actually contour my nose either. You guys know this, but I don't actually contour my nose because it doesn't suit me. So just going under the chin as well. Again, this is all about balancing out the face. Because we've gone in with the cream bronzer around here, we need to do it under the chin as well, just to balance out the rest of the face. So I'm not really trying to shape this area, just sort of like bronze up. Also, if I sound a little bit nasally, I've got really bad hay fever, but that's just it. Cream blush, I'm going in with Made by Mitchell Blush in the shade Peach Sugar. This is very, very intense and I always end up applying too much, but I just like to do, again, one cheek at a time, PC15, and just lightly blend it out, but quite quickly, because again, this is one of those products that sets quite fast. And because I'm doing summer makeup, I want to bring it quite onto the cheek here as if I've been hit by the sun. Same on this side. So sometimes I would keep the blush quite high up for that sculpted look, but I feel like in summer, I just don't fancy a sculpted look. I just want to look bronzy and like I've been in the sun all day, that sort of vibe, like just super bronzy and glowy and sun-kissed. A little bit on the nose too. And this product is so easy to work with as well. You need the tiniest amount. I don't see myself ever running out of this, to be honest. So just underneath my eye, I'm going to use the MAC Prep and Prime highlighter in the shade Bright Forecast. This is sort of like a peachy coloured luminous pen. Now, I used to absolutely love these, more specifically the shade Light Boost, which I do actually have with me right here. This is sort of like the yellow banana shade. In fact, let's put a bit of this on as well, just for a bit of brightness. These sort of add luminosity under the eye, and I feel like that is such a summer vibe. I don't actually know how many times I've said summer vibe in this video, but I'm just taking a little blending brush and going over. So this isn't really a concealer, but it's sort of like a little highlighter, but I just love using it under the eyes. I used to do this years ago when I was like, I was like 17, 18. I used to absolutely swear by this product. I would never ever do my makeup without it. Look at that though, how instantly that's brightened up my under eye. So it's not really a concealer, it's just like a little liquid highlight which has coverage, but it adds that just bit of luminosity under the eye without it looking like shiny or glittery, if that makes sense. It's really, really beautiful. I love it so much. Just mixing those two shades is like really bright and dry actually. So I'm just tapping that out with a fluffy brush. So as you can see, that's just instantly brightened that up. So I'm just using the one powder today, and that's the Laura Mercier Translucent Honey. Love this powder, absolutely amazing. Do you know what? I think this is a better formula than the original. I don't know whether it's because this is a different shade and it actually suits me more than the original one, but there's just something about this honey one that I'm a bit like, this is really good. So Real Technique setting brush, and I'm just going to set underneath my eyes first because that's the first area to crease on me. So we'll get that set. Just a little bit of product. I don't like using too much powder. I feel like powder is sometimes necessary, or at least it's necessary for me to get that airbrush finish, but too much of it can really ruin your makeup. So I tend to like add little bits at a time just to make sure that the powder that I'm using is really controlled and where I want it to be. So I'm just going over all the areas where I get really, really oily first. And then I'm going to grab a larger brush. This is from PLOUISE. It's a 681 brush, so a really big powder brush. And I'm just going to take a little bit of that powder and I'm going to set the rest of my skin super, super lightly because I do want to look glowy and luminous, but I want it to be controlled. And for someone like me who's oily, you can't just skip powder. And because I'm not wearing like a full coverage, long wearing foundation, but I still want my makeup to last that little bit longer, just a little bit of powder over the rest of my face does absolute wonders for me. I don't really tend to do this when I am wearing like my normal foundation, but when I'm doing like tinted moisturizers and stuff, it just helps to keep it in place for me. So just going in and tapping that over, and you can still see that my skin has that like luminous glow coming from underneath. But now that everything's set down and controlled and everything is sort of staying in place, we're gonna put that glow back in. So your luminosity needs to be controlled in the areas where you want it. So I'm gonna actually use two bronzers today. I'm gonna use the new Huda Beauty Glowish Soft Radiance bronzer in Tan Light. And I'm also going to use a little bit of MAC Mineralized Skin Finish in Dark because I can't help myself. And I feel like this is quite cool as well. Like it's quite a cool tone and I'm not sure how I feel about it yet, but I love the formula. So I'm just going to start adding that to my face in all the areas where we added the cream bronzer. So just going along my jawline, my neck, my cheeks. Super light pressure. This is a PLOUISE 638 brush, so just sort of like a nice angled brush to get in all those areas. I might not even need the MAC bronzer today, but this is like got soft radiance in it, so it's not like glittery. It's not a glittery bronzer, but you can see it has that gorgeous like glow to it without having any shimmer in it whatsoever. I'm just going to take a tiny little bit of MAC just to warm up a little bit. Oh yeah, that's what we need. I always like to put a little bit on my nose, bronzer wise as well. Just feel like it makes my skin look really sun-kissed. For blush, I'm going to use two. I'm going to use the Milani Baked Blush in Luminoso, and I'm going to use the Benefit Georgia Blush. I love this if I want to do like a really glowy makeup, like a really like radiant makeup, because it's so, the colour is quite sheer but the glow in it is beautiful. It makes you look like you've got like a soft radiance highlight on. It's so nice. I'm going to go in with my Milani first, I'm just taking that on the Peaches Makeup PC03. I'm just going to focus it more here and just add that little bit on. And also what I like to do if I'm doing like a summer makeup is bring my blush up here. Now you might think, what on earth are you doing? But having blush on your forehead makes everything so much more cohesive. Like, it doesn't look like I've gone ahead and put blush on my forehead, but it makes everything sort of like tie in together. And then again, I'm going to do the same with the Benefit Georgia blush. So again, these are powder products that have radiance in. So that powder is going to set down the makeup underneath, but we're still going to have that glow. So it's still going to be controlled. And then just for a little bit of extra oomph, I'm going to go in with the Wet n Wild Mega Glow Highlighting Powder in the shade Precious Petals. This is amazing. Like, this is the best drugstore highlighter that I've ever used. It's so good. And I'm just applying that to where sort of like the light is hitting me from this window. So just like here and just here. I'm probably not going to put any on my nose because my nose is already looking quite radiant. So just on this area here is nice. And then this is a little bit of like the star of the show. This is the MAC Fix Plus Magic Radiance All Day Hydrating Spray Vitamin C. So this is amazing for making you look glowy. It's the same as Fix Plus, but it's just got this radiance to it that I just think makes your makeup look beautiful, but you don't look like you've been hit with glitter. Again, it's not one of those products that has shimmer or glitter in it, but it has that radiance and that glow, which I just absolutely love. I've been using this so much since I got it. So I'm just going to spray my face with this real quick. Okay guys, so the skin is finished. I'm going to jump off camera and do a little bit of a basic eye look, and then I'll be right back and we'll talk about the final skin. Now, not me saying I'm going to film a quick eye look off camera, and I ended up doing 2 reels, full on wing, lashes, the lot. But anyway, we're back now. And I am obsessed with this skin. So I've probably finished my skin about half an hour, 40 minutes ago. I had time to like settle down into my skin and everything, and I'm absolutely obsessed with the radiance and everything like that. I feel like a summer goddess today. I'm just, oh my god. So yeah guys, that's how I do my summer skin. It feels really lightweight. It doesn't feel like heavy on my face or anything like that. And remember, like, this is actually no foundation. This is just tinted moisturizer. So definitely give it a go. This Nars tinted moisturizer is amazing. As you guys know, I've spoken about it so much in this video. So guys, that's it for this video. Before you leave, don't forget to subscribe, hit that thumbs up button if you like this video, and leave me a lovely little comment in the comment section below. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.